This week, my Facebook feed was full of pictures of children returning to school. The same kids I've known for years, but slightly different. New backpacks, new outfits, faces and bodies a year older. The same kids as last year, beginning again. In some ways, back to school is the most tangible new year in any of our lives. In our world of constant work, intermittent vacations, secularized holidays, the upgrade from one grade to another and newly sharpened pencils and fresh crayons are the most reasonable new year. Our birthdays, another marker of age, are scattered across the calendar. Our holidays are based on agricultural markers that made sense at different latitudes on different continents. But once a year, every child restarts and moves forward. We as individuals, we as community, we as a nation, we as a world, move forward through time. And as we do so, we change, fed by our own shared history. In ancient Egypt, in King Tut's tomb, 3,300 years ago, an artist carved a snake into the wall. The snake curved, its jaw agape, and into its mouth it swallowed its own tail, curling forever into itself. There's a drawing down here if you wanted to color one of these. This is the first Ouroboros that we have record of. The snake that feeds itself, moves forward, loops back. The Ouroboros is not just a symbol from ancient Egypt. It, like its symbolism, comes back to us over and over, from the Greeks, from the Gnostics. It's usually is a snake, but sometimes it is a dragon. From Norse mythology to Hindu imagery, the Ouroboros appears again and again. For the Egyptians, the Ouroboros was a symbol of time, a way of conceptualizing existence as a loop, as part of the rhythm of life for Egyptians that was predictable and powerful. They experienced the flooding of the Nile River Valley. The new year in Egypt was celebrated each summer. Nile River Valley flooded, creating fertile agricultural plains. As we begin our school years again, we are changed, different, but also experiencing the rhythm of repetition. Our understanding in our brand new algebra class is based on our experience in last year's pre-algebra class. Our optimism or hesitation walking into the lunchroom is built on last year's friendships or last year's schoolyard bully run-ins. For Greeks captivated by the idea of alchemy, turning everyday objects into gold, the Ouroboros became a symbol of the way that everything is linked together. Their hope was that the average, the mundane, could become special. 2,000 years ago, Greek scholars were contemplating how everything might be linked together in cycles of repetition and growth. We now know that across the universe there are stars expanding and collapsing. And we are just beginning to understand the way that this celestial inhale and exhale creates all that is. Our nation has been built from and on the backs of immigrants. Our existence today can only be understood through the lens of our history, the tale we have already consumed, hoping to manifest the American dream. For Gnostics, the snake became a symbol of balance of the divine and earthly in all humans, and our search for balance in these things. We humans carry with us great potential and also great capacity for pain. Our history, the history of this country, has not always been beautiful. As Emma Lazarus was penning the new Colossus, aching for a country who could hold the tempest tossed, she did so not in a country with cohesive welcome. The same decade she penned the poem marked the first public charge laws, barriers to those who immigrated who were the most vulnerable. 7 years after she penned the poem, while she was raising funds to create the pedestal at the base of the Statue of Liberty, the Wounded Knee Massacre occurred, While her poem reflects our country in moments of our best intention, our history can never be taken strand by strand apart, unwoven with only the parts that make us proud recited in history class. The snake, eating its own tail, creates itself out of what once was. We exist here out of our strongest moments and as a result of our own past. Our lives, of course, are rhythmic. From waking up each morning, our breakfast, our leaving for work or school or outings or chores, our returning and eating and again rest. From the cyclical, the weekly, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. From the months, the holidays, coming again and again, each time the same, each time different. But our lives are not the same. We are not the same as we find familiar mile markers. We are different people as we enter second grade than we were when we entered first grade. More confident, more sure of what is happening. Even the rhythmic milestones we find ourselves at across the lifespan are different each year. We hold different roles each time we find ourselves spinning past. While time may loop, that's not mine to say, we certainly see our history creating our future as we grow, incorporating what we have learned, moving forward. We go back to the school year at the end of the summer because our agricultural roots required kids to be available to help until the crops came in. The new, fresh, clean notebooks are directly tied to the tilt of our planet on this race around the sun. Yet each year, the first day of school is exciting, new. Our existence, even at the exact same place on the spinning blue dots rotation, is different than it was last year. We are a snake eating its own tail, but we grow as we eat that tail. We nourish ourselves, we find ourselves a different body, and we become different people.